So, first of all, I love the book.
Oh,
I'm
thank
still
you.
reading it.
Thank you.
But whatever I've read, I mean, there's a lot of information. But wanted to know, meditation is also a lived experience. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, how much can one really, benefit from reading a book, and how much can one retain, because our brains, of course, can only retain that
A
much.
book on meditation has to have a quality which, when you read, will remain with you. So this is why I have made it into question answer forms, because these are the questions which people ask me all the time. I'll answer the questions here, and when I go to Bangalore, they'll ask me the same question. So I thought, let me make it a question answer book, so that when they ask, you say, please refer to the book. Good for penguin, but that's not the reason. So that's one reason. The other, mera kya hai ki I wanted to demystify this meditation. Other people get very caught up with this dark room mein jaake kaan mein phonkna and so on. I wanted to get this out. I won't say it's an advanced book on meditation, but it's good for a beginner to go through it. And if he forgets, he can go back and look, because the language is also very
simple, very simple.
That's the reason why I wrote this book.
So, is it also for people who are, like you said, beginners in meditation, or people who have no idea about meditation?
Also.
Is it also to encourage them?
Also, because that's why I didn't put any yoga word on the title. I simply said meditation. So people would even be curious, kya meditation? Let's read it. Then they'll go to the first question, which is a very simple question.
What is meditation?
And then I think they will want to look at the next. So it is meant for two kinds of people. One is those who have no idea about meditation, but have heard and they want to check and find out, explore, even theoretically.
Some people don't even like the concept of meditation. If you're meditating, you're boring.
So for them also, like, just check what you have lost, that. And the second reason for this is to demystify it, as I told you. These are two reasons. But there are also people who do advanced meditation or think they are doing advanced meditation. I want some points to be clarified. If what is advanced, what is beginner, what is middle. So yes, a lot of questions have been discussed on this matter.
Yesterday Dr. Singh asked you about prayer and meditation. I was wondering, aren't they two sides of the same coin? What is it that separates prayer and meditation?
Yeah, what separates them is when you pray, you are looking at a superior power and you are asking for supplication. Give me this, give me that. While in meditation, you are trying to find your true source and who you actually are. What is your link with the divine? These are the important differences. In fact, while we pray, which is necessary because we need some support, if you go to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which are derived from Sankhya philosophy, basically, there is no concept of Ishvara at all. You can reach Kaivalya without acknowledging Ishvara.
So prayer is not that important?
There, prayer is not important. Chanting is there, but chanting is assertions. Chanting of Om is there. When you say Om, you are not asking for anything. You are doing it to deepen your understanding of the self.
So you do think that they are two different things in a way?
I am not against prayer,
I know,
but I am saying they are two different things.
And like some people find that through prayer they can actually go to nirvana. Can that happen? It doesn't have to be meditation.
I don't think anybody can go to nirvana through prayer, but they certainly can.
Bhakti bhav.
Yeah, so bhakti also, there are different forms of bhakti. There is ordinary bhakti, which is like, when I say ordinary, I am not demeaning it in any way, but like you go before, oh, give me this, give me that, I love you, please give me, I'll light an agarbatti, I'll break 10 coconuts and so on. And that's one kind of bhakti. The other is bhakti for the sake of bhakti, like Mirabai's bhakti. I don't want anything. She doesn't want the palace, she doesn't want a husband. What does she want? Krishna's darshan. That's a different kind of prayer.
That can take you to that
level. Of course, that can. And there is Kunti Devi, who says, bring all misfortunes on my head so that I can remember you. Ye kaisa prayer hai? What do we normally pray? Give me this, give me that. Here says, take everything away. I want only you. This is not easy. That in the Bhakti Sutras, Narada Bhakti Sutras, is called Para Bhakti, the highest Bhakti possible.
You know, we live in an age of instant gratification. And you're saying, you know, bring all the miseries.
I'm not saying.
Kunti
said. I don't want to say that.
But you know, so you know, we want to go to a restaurant, even if it takes a little bit of time. We say, "Jaldi khana lao." You know, bhook lag rahi hai. There's always something, because everything is at our beck and call. Meditation, from what I have understood, is a very long down procedure.
True.
You've also said, you know, you constant
It'll
practice.
Take time. Yeah.
So, you know, there's a conflict between, you know, living in an age where you want everything now, and then going for something where you don't know when you're going to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. So what? So what is the question?
My question is, like, you know, how do we, you know, resolve that conflict? Because sometimes, you know, along the way you feel like, are you even doing the right thing? Because when are you going to see, so my question is, when are you going to see light at the end of the tunnel?
I'm difficult to answer again, but it depends on different people, their backgrounds, how much effort they're ready to put into it. What happens is, when it comes to other things, we want instant gratification, and we stretch it also to spiritual matters, which may not always work. One. Second is that we want something like, we want to make money. Oh, forget about money. I have seen a man and I want him at whatever happens, at any cost. Or it could be the girl, other way around. I am ready to do anything for that, even if it takes me 10 years, I want to work on it, because I want him. Why? That's my priority. The reason why one can't do this with meditation is because that is not our priority. So, one of the things we should understand is there are wonderful things achievable with meditation. So make it at least on the second or third priority list, if not the first. Then you will be ready to put your effort into it.
What are those wonderful things that we can get? Because, you know, one is always looking at results.
Yes. So, the beginning of meditation, if you do even simple watching your breath, vipassana or hang sa as we call it, what happens? First of all, the mind calms down. And a calm mind is a sharp mind. An agitated mind thinks it is sharp, but it is not sharp. A calm mind, what is called sthita prajna, which does not care what others say, but wants to do what it wants to do. It can be good or bad, okay? What I mean to say is, then you're not bothered about praise or blame. Tulya ninda stutir mauni. There is ninda and stuti are not important. You have to do what you have to do. Now this is a great attitude, even in your career, if you want to build up, you have to do. Don't care about your criticism that comes, which is negative. Move ahead. Simple meditation can help you in this world also. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not only for finding the ultimate moksha, which if you feel and if you go deeper and begin to enjoy, you might want it. But before that, even in day-to-day life, it keeps you clear of conflict. It makes you move forward. You don't have to change your clothes if you are doing meditation. Look, I am wearing pants and shirt and sitting before you. Do I look any different? This is a hippie hairstyle, don't worry about it. Yeah? So, it's not important. So, even in this life, even in your relationships, in your behavior, people don't like people who are always irritable. Meditation can bring it down. Irritability can become almost non-existent. These are some of the advantages of meditation, even if it is not spiritual. But you have to fix a priority. How do you fix the priority? Say to yourself that the physical world is physical, okay, but it is my mind that is in communication with it and which operates this physical world. Therefore, I have to set my mind right to move forward. Then the priority is established. Then I want to set it right.
You know, sages and hermits who have meditated for maybe so many births, and they could perform miracles. But can we perform even small miracles with meditation?
One of the greatest miracles that one can perform is change a person's mind. If you are a meditator, you can do that without getting angry, without getting irritated. You can change somebody's mind.
So I can do, if I'm meditating, I can change somebody's mind.
Of course. Because
How
I
do
see,
you do that?
ultimately we are all linked. If I'm sitting in a big company and yawn, in a few minutes everybody is yawning. So if I change, the change is reflected in others. I have faced people who are in such a temper, and I don't tell them to cool down. I just sit down, have a cup of tea, let's have a chat. 10 minutes they say, and now I'm feeling nice. I've done nothing. My mind is calm, so it reflects on the other mind. But that takes time, not instant, as you said.
But even in your journey of doing dhyan and meditation, what happens is there are some days where you have bliss and everything looks like you're on top of the world, and there are some days
Exactly.
despite doing your meditation, nothing moves. Why does that happen?
That is part of the mind structure, that one day it's high, then it comes down the next day. This is the mind structure. So you have to penetrate that and come to a stage of being tranquil in spite of all circumstances. It takes time. Practice is important. Nairantariya abhyasena, regular practice. Look, people are ready to practice golf every day. People are ready to play cricket every day. It's only through practice that you can play tennis and whatever, even boxing. So why not spend some time in something which is so important that it puts your mind in a proper situation, and the mind is so important for physical health also. Now the WHO has declared that mind health is as important as physical health.
Probably more, I would say.
More. They have said it's as important, but I am saying more. Yes, you're right.
Because if your mind, they say that you can manifest things from the mind, and you've also mentioned in the book that you can, if you can really visualize.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if meditation is like bluffing the mind, because you're telling it.
It's not bluffing the mind. It's like tweaking the mind and saying, "Don't think you're limited. You're not."
Because you're creating so many visions in your head. You're imagining throughout, and you're setting it into a pattern where you're imagining every day. Oh, so this something nice is going to happen, or my body is feeling light, and then you're
not feeling.
Are you also trying to
hallucinate? Imagining that your body actually feels light.
Yes, it does start feeling light. So I'm wondering whether it's a meditation is also a kind of hallucination for the mind.
No, it's a breaking of all hallucinations. The meditation is a dehypnotization. Now I feel I am a goat, I'm bleating and walking around. Meditation is a reminder, here you're not a goat, you're a lioness. So this is not hypnotized, this is dehypnotizing. There is an old story about how a lion cub got lost among the goats, in an attack. And then after the mother came back after 2 years, she found one lioness going around, bleating like a goat and running away as soon as it saw the lions coming. So the male head of the thing went and caught him by the neck and brought him, and he said, "Hey, you're a lion, man. Why are you running like this?" So he said, no. He started bleating. So he pushed him towards the story, of course.
Yes.
And towards the pond and said, "Look at your face." He said, "I am you. Yeah, we are same." So it's a reminder that you're not, I'm useless, I'm weak, I can't do this. Meditation gets you out of that. In the beginning, it's required to visualize so before you reach there. Don't mix up the word imagination and visualize. These are two different words. Imagination is the brain run riots and imagines various things. Visualization is ordered, structured imagination done deliberately. It's a technique. There is a difference. And when you can do proper visualization, what you visualize becomes a reality.
Even in the short term, or does it have to go on for a long time?
That depends on what kind of thing you do. I'll tell you something very nice, which might be interesting to people who read Hello and so on, which is really every morning. This is not part of this book, but every morning if you go I'm telling you it works. You stand before a full-length mirror. Okay? If you don't like some parts of your face or body which you don't like, suppose, you keep, unless it's a bone structure which you can't change except through plastic surgery, go and stand in front of the mirror and imagine yourself or visualize yourself as you think you should be, not as you are. And if you're grumpy, smile before the mirror. When you smile, what happens? The muscles that operate, usually the message comes from the brain, but it's a two-way affair. When this is relaxed, when you smile, it sends the message to your brain. And the brain says, hey, you should be smiling, why are you so frowning? So after some time, you really begin to smile. You know, in the same way, you can change your face, your stature. In fact, it's not so much the structure that is important, but the how one presents oneself. That is more important than even the structure. There are some people who we usually nowadays mistake leanness and thinness with beauty.
Yes.
Yeah. Now this is a very dangerous trend. You should eat. I mean, you must be healthy. I know you shouldn't be like flabby, but so luckily there is nobody here. So, the thing is, you need not be. In fact, when people who are quite bulky, when they suddenly do all kinds of lose weight, it's like an elephant becoming thin. Can you imagine?
True.
The ears are hanging, everything is hanging. So, what you should do is, it's not that you're fat or you're thin that is important, it's how you present yourself.
We were told when we were growing up to go and practice your elocutions in front of the mirror, because then you get more confidence.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Then you become more comfortable and you know how to do it. So, also don't base your model on anybody, be your own model.
But you should also know that you're the right model, in the sense that you know your thought process is right.
Present your right model, at least present. In private time you can find out where are the faults and try to present, be clear on this, that I am interesting, I don't want to demote myself.
You know, the other thing I wanted to I was wondering that when you go out, meet your friends, have a glass of wine, you just tend to relax also.
Do I?
So, so you know, for a lot of us, do we really need to always sit and meditate? Not, you know, take the easy route of maybe having a glass of wine and feeling more relaxed.
May I
because yes.
May I say something? If you meditate regularly, even your occasional glass of wine is more beautiful than when you are not. The only problem with alcohol is then you get stuck and it becomes a habit, you cannot do without it, and then after a while the dose is not enough to make you feel good, so you feel more. This is the problem with it. Otherwise, occasional glass of wine makes no difference.
You know, like for instance, like a lot of people that I know, and they would say that, you know, why do you want to go the spiritual way? It's, you know, it's tedious, it's boring. They kind of look down upon you for following a certain kind of path, and they say that, you know, we are having as much fun. Maybe you are missing out on life. I mean, what do you say?
Tell them that I am having more fun than you.
You know,
it's a way of expressing, because you know, most people are going on a certain way in a certain stream, and one person stands up, oh, I'm swimming against the stream. It appears silly to them. It is effortless to swim with. So they think. They don't know this stream is taking you to a waterfall and you land on your head in the rocks. You don't know that. So, not you, I mean, they don't know
for
that.
sure.
So therefore, you should be able, you don't have to preach actually. You do what you should be doing. And in fact, I also sometimes have a glass of wine. It makes no difference, especially when you go to all these families, royalties and so on. They can't do without a drink. And they say, sir. And they say, Jai Bhavani. You need an excuse, right? So, I also have it. Nowadays, it's gone around in certain circles. Don't drink with sir. Why? Because afterwards, you may not feel like drinking. Right? Because we are all drunks actually. We are all alcoholics, but it is not the ordinary alcohol that we drink. It's something else. So when we learn to drain that glass, a great Sufi once said, "Ye akhal ke madrase se ut, ishq ke maye khade mein aa." Come to the bar of ishq. Jame fana wa bekhudi ab to piya. Now you have drunk the jam, the wine of bekhudi, no ego. Jo ho so ho. It's a great happiness. You are no more dependent on the bottle, but you're drunk. So,
you're drunk all the time then.
Yeah, so that meditation is not such a dry thing as it is made out by, especially by these monastic people, something else. I'm not talking about the European monastic people, because in Germany all the best wine and liquor is made in the monasteries.
Also the quantity and quality,
Absolutely.
what, no, not of the alcohol.
That's also true.
Is there like a quality versus quantity where meditation is concerned? Maybe some people...
Quality is more important than quantity. You can sit for 1 hour and you think you are meditating. No, you're not. Something is happening in your mind. Even 10 minutes you can sit and be quiet and tranquil, not have any conflicts, free of distractions. That is more valuable than sitting for 1 hour, just, sitting because I want to sit.
So do you meditate, or are you beyond all this now?
I do meditate. I enjoy meditating. Not because I need to. I don't need to, because as you said just now, I'm drunk all the time. So I don't have to. But sometimes even if you're drunk, it's nice to sit down with a familiar glass, right? So I like to sit and meditate.
So for...
if I miss, I don't regret. It's not a lesson for people who are meditating.
So do you have a message for people who meditate and for people who don't? Who are probably going to pick up the book.
Where do you get your questions from?
My mind.
Is there a message for? Say that again.
So people who meditate, for them who are going to read this book, do you have a, maybe we'll first deal with that and then.
For people who meditate, I suggest that let them go through it once, just like light reading, and then go through each one carefully, or zero in on what interests them in this whole book, and then study it carefully. This is my advice or suggestion to people who are meditators, who are into. People who don't meditate, I would still say, read it. Maybe you're missing something. Maybe you're missing something. Before reading it, you don't know. So please go through this and see. If you don't like it, give it away.
Maybe one more last question, sir. A lot of people do YouTube meditations these days, me included sometimes. And there are lots of them available on YouTube. Is that a modality that works, you think?
Something is better than nothing. If you go, you'll find my talks on YouTube.
Yes.
I haven't introduced the meditation on YouTube, but Hamsa is there anyway. Guru Mantra is there. It's okay, it's better. I have great appreciation for the digital media. Only thing is, it should be used properly. Today, only rishis could long distance communicate. Today, anybody can do it. It's a big step.
Is there anything wrong that you can do with if you don't know a particular practice and you're kind of trying it out?
Possible. So don't get into very advanced practices involved with complicated breathing and so on. Stay with something that is simple. Because these are not jokes, these are very serious affairs. You're trying to deal with tremendous energies. So you have to go at it mild way, as you do with anything else, and slowly keep your mind properly strengthened before you go into it.
So for that you
but
need
with
a
this
guide.
there is nothing much in this.
Not in this,
Very
but
simple.
yes.
Yeah,
But you know, a lot of people, like I said, you know, we are shopping because it's
so
all there on
you have to be
Google.
very careful.
You need a guide for that.
You need a guide, and the guide, make sure that the guide is not looking for something himself, or rather wanting to give you something. Make sure of that first. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.